The crew of the Xylarian scout ship was agitated, their appendages twitching as they observed Earth's inhabitants. Predators, they thought, with a dismissive hum. They catalogued Earth's apex creatures one by one, noting the lions, tigers, bears, even the cunning wolves. None, to the Xylarian eye, held the cunning or threat level to make Earth's fauna remotely worrisome. Observe the lion, Drawl, the science officer, pointed. Large, impressive mane. Intimidating to the eye but merely a primitive hunter, relying on brute force. The captain snorted, his mandibles clicking in mockery. Primitive, he echoed. These humans must be utterly foolish to consider such beasts dangerous. Just then, one human soldier stepped forward, a glint of amusement in his eye. He was part of the Planetary Defense Force and had been given the task of convincing the aliens that Earth wasn't so vulnerable. Smiling, he held up his communicator, projecting an image onto the ship's main viewer. "Meet the honey badger," he said with a grin. The Xylarians scrutinized the small, stout creature on screen. It was unimpressive at first glance, its physique far from menacing, barely a fraction of the size of a lion or bear. The captain let out a bark of laughter. "Is this some kind of joke?" he sneered. But the soldier's smirk only widened. He hit play on the video feed, showing the honey badger darting into the burrows of venomous snakes, tearing through with wild abandon. The creature, undeterred by bites, grappled with the cobra, tore it apart, and devoured it with unnerving satisfaction. When it finally succumbed to the venom, the honey badger lay motionless for a moment, then woke, shook itself off, and continued on its way. The Xylarians went silent. Their scanners detected the amount of venom the creature had absorbed. By their standards, it should have been dead 10 times over. Yet, there it was, undeterred, carrying on as if nothing happened. "Resilience level, remarkable," Drawl muttered, typing frantically into his datapad. The captain shifted uneasily, his amusement replaced by an unfamiliar tension. The human soldier was far from finished. He showed footage of the honey badger raiding beehives, swarmed by hundreds of angry bees. It emerged stung and bloodied but triumphant, dripping honey as it marched away. One by one, scenes of the honey badger's exploits played out, each one more brutal and fearless than the last. A montage of the honey badger chasing leopards, taking on entire packs of jackals, and tearing into anything that dared to challenge it played across the screen. It is reckless," Drawl stammered, unnerved. "It lacks caution, yet it survives." The captain watched with narrowing eyes, feeling an uncharacteristic surge of doubt. If humans shared any qualities with this creature, perhaps this species had been underestimated. The soldier seemed to read their minds. Honey badgers don't back down, even when facing animals far larger or stronger. They're relentless, fearless, and that's what makes them dangerous. In the silence, the soldier added, almost as an afterthought, "And we humans? We're the ones who keep them as pets." The Xylarians stiffened. In their culture, even mildly aggressive creatures were confined to uninhabited planets, far from their cities. The concept of taming something so volatile was incomprehensible. One crew member gulped, a rare show of fear. "They have these creatures as pets?" "Yes," the soldier replied, his voice soft, ominous. "And it's not just honey badgers. We breed, train, and domesticate far deadlier creatures for our purposes." The captain's gaze sharpened. "Is this a threat?" The soldier smiled, his tone cold. "Consider it a warning. Earth isn't without its defenses. If you think a honey badger is frightening, remember this, it's just the beginning." The Xylarian crew looked at each other, anxiety clear in their alien features. They'd come expecting to find a primitive world ripe for exploitation. Instead, they found something far more unsettling, a planet of beings willing to befriend monsters. Without another word, the scout ship's engines roared to life, hastily retreating from Earth's orbit. Back on board, the captain sat in silence, his mind haunted by the savage, indomitable gaze of the honey badger. For the first time in his career, he felt fear, not of an enemy's strength, but of their unbreakable will. As the Xylarian ship drifted further from Earth, the atmosphere inside grew thick with tension. The honey badger, a seemingly insignificant creature, had rattled them deeply. It wasn't the strength or size of the animal. It was its sheer refusal to surrender, its willingness to face death and come back with no less ferocity. And if the humans considered such creatures allies, even pets, what did that say about them? The captain, still shaken, turned to his science officer. Drawl, I want a full analysis on the behavioral patterns of humans. I want to understand if they, too, share these instincts. Drawl nodded, eager to restore his reputation. Yes, Captain. Preliminary scans already indicate humans possess an unusual threshold for endurance. Their bodies are surprisingly adaptable, with a nervous system that allows them to push through pain, exhaustion, and even extreme environments. The captain pondered this. How did we miss this in our initial scans? We only observed their biological structure, their intelligence, their basic social structure. But we overlooked their spirit. Drawl, typing furiously, nodded. It appears that they not only endure but thrive in chaos. Historically, they've survived wars, natural disasters, even pandemics that would have decimated any other species. It's possible, Captain, that their psychological resilience is more formidable than we accounted for. Another crew member, Officer Xylan, piped up, his voice betraying a tremor. But they're planet's creatures. They not only endure those monsters but tame them. What kind of minds must they possess to do such a thing? As the analysis came together, the ship received a new transmission from Earth, a video. Curious, and perhaps out of a lingering pride, the captain opened it. What played out before them was a recording of humans in training exercises, pushing through grueling environments, sometimes hauling heavy gear through mud, storms, and heat. They fought in simulated combat, their faces set with determination as they moved through fire, across freezing landscapes, enduring pain and exhaustion. Finally, the video shifted. Humans were seen with a variety of Earth's most dangerous animals. Animals the Xylarians had dismissed as predators. They saw soldiers training with massive dogs, working alongside eagles, and even practicing tactical maneuvers with wolves by their side. The final clip showed a group of humans in a rescue operation, shielding a wild honey badger while it fearlessly protected them in return, clawing and biting at a much larger predator. The crew watched in silence, transfixed, each of them experiencing an alien form of awe, and something close to terror. The video ended with a close-up of the honey badger, its sharp gaze fixed on the camera, as if daring any creature watching to challenge it. Drawl broke the silence, his voice barely a whisper. Captain, I believe, if we engage these humans, it may not be the conquest we anticipated. The captain sat back, mandibles clenching, his mind a storm of conflicting thoughts. We are conquerors, not diplomats, Drawl. But to challenge a species that embraces ferocity and chaos, that allies with creatures that defy survival odds? It would be an act of recklessness. The bridge lights dimmed as the captain, for the first time in his career, issued a retreat command. Prepare to relay a message to the High Command, he ordered. Tell them that Earth is unsuitable for colonization. The risks outweigh the benefits. Drawl's mandibles clicked in agreement. Yes, Captain. I believe that is wise. As the scout ship plotted its course back to the Xylarian Empire, the captain stole one last glance at the blue and green orb in the distance. He realized then that Earth was not a place for his kind. It was a world that bred resilience, that turned fear into fuel, and that raised creatures as fierce and undaunted as the honey badger. He knew, deep down, that if they ever returned, Earth would be ready. And for the first time in their long history of conquest, the Xylarian Empire had met a world not worth the fight. As the Xylarian ship vanished into the depths of space, the memory of Earth and its tenacious inhabitants lingered. For the Xylarians, the encounter was a silent, seething wound, a reminder of an empire forced to back down. But the High Command didn't take kindly to failure. When the captain's report reached the Empire, the Xylarian Council convened to discuss Earth. News of a strategic withdrawal spread like wildfire, shocking and unsettling the Empire's elite. How could a backwater planet, one devoid of advanced weaponry, have repelled a Xylarian mission? A murmur grew within the council. Some believed it was an elaborate deception. Others felt it was cowardice. One counselor, Ralith, took particular offense. Known for his ruthlessness, Ralith was among the most powerful voices in the Empire. He demanded action. "We will not be cowed by a lesser species," he declared, his voice a hiss that silenced the chamber. "If these humans possess the resilience of this honey badger, and the mind to tame their most dangerous beasts, then it is all the more reason to claim them. Imagine the strength they would add to our military. We must learn what fuels them, harness it, and crush them if they resist." Despite warnings from the scouts who had witnessed Earth's ferocity, the Council ordered an invasion force, one with the full might of Xylarian weaponry and their most battle-hardened soldiers. Ralith himself would lead the mission, determined to succeed where others had failed. Weeks later, Earth's skies darkened as the Xylarian fleet broke through the atmosphere. Unlike the scout ship, this fleet was a fortress of war, armed to the teeth with plasma cannons, energy shields, and drones designed to control and subdue. Xylarian troops swarmed, dispersing over key cities as humanity stared upward, uncertain and horrified. Human governments scrambled to respond, deploying their most advanced weaponry, but they knew they were outmatched. The Xylarian soldiers were relentless, pressing forward with their advanced weaponry and tactics. Cities fell into chaos as the Xylarians established footholds across Earth, confident that their strategy would soon bring humans to their knees. But then, the humans retaliated in a way the Xylarians never expected. Across the world, special forces teams were deployed, trained not just in military tactics but in survival and guerrilla warfare. These humans didn't engage in direct combat with the Xylarian soldiers. Instead, they adapted, blending into environments, setting traps, and using Earth's wilderness as a weapon. In one city, a squad of Xylarian soldiers encountered resistance they couldn't comprehend. They were ambushed in dense forest terrain, where human fighters used the foliage to their advantage. They struck swiftly, wielding both modern weapons and makeshift tools, drawing the Xylarian soldiers into close combat where their advanced weaponry became a hindrance. Injured and demoralized, the Xylarians faced an unrelenting force of humans, each fighter bearing the same grit and tenacity as the honey badger that had once shaken the scout crew. Elsewhere, Xylarian soldiers encountered animals they had deemed inferior. Bears, wolves, even packs of wild dogs, each one standing alongside human allies. The humans had trained them, unleashed them with a loyalty and aggression that seemed born of the earth itself. Ralith, commanding from the flagship, grew enraged as reports of guerrilla resistance flooded in. His elite soldiers, his prized machines, all were struggling against humans who fought with a ferocity the Xylarians couldn't have anticipated. In the forests of North America, a seasoned group of special operatives had gathered with allies, trained honey badgers, kept to assist with reconnaissance. But these fearless creatures soon became front-line soldiers. As the Xylarians advanced, they were met with an onslaught of claws, teeth, and defiance. Honey badgers tore into armored Xylarians, ignoring wounds and venomous darts, ferociously defending their territory alongside their human companions. When Ralith ordered a direct assault on a human command center, he found his own shuttle surrounded by humans who had infiltrated their defenses. Earth's forces moved with a coordination and adaptability that defied logic. Ralith fought back, his elite guard cutting down humans by the dozens, but for every fallen soldier, 10 more seemed to emerge from the shadows, their eyes set with a determination he couldn't understand. Finally, Ralith stood face to face with a human general, a veteran with a steely gaze and a smile that unnerved him. They circled each other, an unspoken challenge hanging between them. "You didn't think we'd fight back, did you?" the general said, his voice calm. "Thought you could just take what you wanted." Ralith sneered. "You are primitive, all of you. This is only temporary resistance. The general smirked, his expression defiant. We're more than you bargained for. And if we're anything like the creatures we live alongside, well, you'll learn the hard way that humans don't back down. With a roar, they clashed, the human wielding his combat knife and striking with a speed and agility that caught the alien off guard. Ralith fought back, his advanced armor dented by the ferocity of his opponent's strikes. But as the battle raged on, he felt it, fear, something he had never known. This human was relentless, refusing to yield, fighting with the same indomitable spirit as the honey badger. The human's guerrilla tactics turned the tide. They sabotaged Xylarian machinery, turned Earth's wilderness into a weapon, and outlasted the alien soldiers, who had underestimated the willpower of Earth's inhabitants. Eventually, the Xylarian forces were forced to retreat, their technology, strength, and numbers all undone by a force they had never anticipated: humanity's refusal to surrender. As Ralitha's fleet limped back into the stars, he was haunted by the last sight of Earth's warriors, standing united with their animal allies, gazing up at the retreating ships. He understood then what the scout captain had seen. Earth was more than a conquest. It was a crucible of resilience, a place where even the smallest creature could stand against an empire. And as the stars enveloped his ship, Ralith whispered a vow to himself that the Xylarian Empire would never return to Earth, not while humanity lived, fierce and unbroken. Months passed after the Xylarian retreat, but Earth was forever changed. Stories of the invasion became legends, spreading through military ranks, news outlets, and local folklore. The unity shown by humanity, along with their unbreakable alliance with Earth's wild creatures, became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, Earth would stand together. The honey badger became an emblem of courage. Statues were erected in city squares, and murals depicted the indomitable creature side by side with human soldiers, standing defiant against a cosmic threat. The creature's fierce gaze became a reminder of Earth's spirit, one that would forever say, "We will not be conquered." Across the planet, humanity fortified itself, knowing the possibility of another alien threat was real. Military forces trained harder, honing skills not only in technology but also in survival and guerrilla warfare, tactics that had proven invaluable against an alien force. They prepared for the unexpected, determined never to be caught off guard again. On the other side of the galaxy, the Xylarian Empire remained haunted by Earth. Ralith and his fellow counselors issued a silent decree that Earth was off limits, an unspoken agreement that none would question. The memory of that blue-green world, its defiant inhabitants, and its savage creatures lingered, a quiet scar on the Empire's record of conquest. Back on Earth, life gradually returned to normal, but an undercurrent of change had swept through. People found themselves a little bolder, a little fiercer. They cherished the creatures around them with newfound respect, knowing these animals shared the same unyielding heart that had repelled an alien invasion. And so Earth moved forward, a little more aware of its place in the universe, a little more united. Humanity knew now that it was not alone among the stars, and that other worlds might see them as prey. But Earth was ready, because even the mightiest invader, with all its technology and power, could not break the spirit of those who called Earth home. And should any creature from the stars dare to come again, they would find a planet of warriors waiting, wild and untamed, ready to stand side by side, just like the honey badger, unyielding, fearless, and forever free.